What's up, guys? It's me here. So recently, my business partner and I decided to do something really stupid. Well, actually, it wasn't that recent. It was about 14 years ago. But just a few weeks ago, we were talking about it. And he reminded me of what had happened. And basically, in a nutshell, we didn't think we would get any money for the next 2 to 3 months. It was back in 2008. The economy was crashing. People were losing their jobs left and right. Businesses were closing. Banks were shutting down. And we were young real estate investors who bought properties all cash and then rented them out to Section 8 tenants. Now, as you could probably guess, when the economy tanks and people lose their jobs, those same people tend to also default on their rental payments. If you're new to my channel, I'm the host. But when it comes to property management, having someone who does a little bit of everything is exactly what you want. Meet Nit Ronquillo, the founder of Ronquillo Property Management. On this channel, we talk about everything, real estate investing from beginner tips to advanced strategies. So we found ourselves in a situation where we had tenants who stopped paying rent because they lost their job, but we still had mortgages to pay. And even though we currently manage our own properties, this goes beyond anything that I've ever personally experienced. See, while Nick was going to college for marketing, he found himself wanting extra spending money. So he started working for his uncle who owned a property management company. First, as soon as you hire Nick, he sends out a swath of marketing material to get your property rented as fast as possible. As soon as you hire him, he'll send someone out to take a look at the property, take note of any repairs or maintenance that needs to be done, and address it as soon as possible. When you hire Ronquillo, you'll get access to the resident portal, which allows you to pay rent, submit work orders, and get 24-hour updates on any repair. This gives you, as the landlord, peace of mind, knowing that if something does happen, it'll be taken care of. Additionally, Nick and his team make it a point to personally call the landlords every month to update them on how the property is performing. That's why he and his team are always available to answer any questions you may have, whether it's a phone call, text message, or email. Nick takes pride in being a member of the community, and he is always looking for ways to give back. He is a member of several local landlord associations, and he volunteers his time to help others whenever he can. They're always there to help. They're the best of the best, and they'll treat your property like it's their own. What the occupancy rates are, what repairs need to be made, and how much money they earned for the month. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you learned something new. Don't forget to leave a like if you're interested in learning more about Nick and the Ronquillo team. Check out the website below for more information. Again, thanks for watching. Hope you guys are having a great day and we'll see you guys in the next video. By doing this, he's able to prevent any small issues from turning into a huge problem. He posted on Zillow, Tarulia Realtor, Cone, Craigslist, Facebook, and his own social media network. Every single month, they run comparable rents in the area to make sure that you're getting the highest return on your investment. They also make sure that your property is always in good repair so that it stays attractive to renters. And he does this until he finds the perfect tenant. They run background checks, they pull credit reports, and they verify their income. Then once the tenant signs the lease, they're added to the resident portal where they can pay rent directly online, submit maintenance requests, and communicate directly with the property manager. Within a few months, he was promoted to on-site manager. For example, a small leak under a sink could turn into a massive mold issue if not addressed immediately, or a tenant could damage the entire backyard by having a party and not clean up afterwards. And then there's late rent payments, tenant turnover, property maintenance, evictions, and a million other things that could go wrong. It's stressful. It takes a lot of time and effort, and oftentimes you're left holding the bag. And after managing dozens of units, he realized that there was a need for better service in the industry. But with so many horror stories of tenants being evicted, for mold properties going to waste tenants, trashing the place, constant calls in the middle of the night, it is important to find someone who can take care of everything from the big stuff to the small stuff. Someone who's insured, bonded, and licensed. Someone who is resourceful enough to handle whatever comes their way, and someone who will always look out for your best interest. So in 2008, he launched his own property management company, and because we didn't have a steady stream of cash flowing in, we couldn't keep up with our expenses, and therefore we needed to sell. But not just sell any property, we needed to sell one of our best performing, highest cash flowing assets at the time to stay afloat. And although it was a difficult decision, we felt like we had no other choice. We listed the house for sale. We waited for an offer, received a lowball cash offer from an investor, and thought to ourselves, well, this is it. We're officially screwed. Well, turns out the deal went through, and we ended up selling the house at a loss. Then we took that money and we reinvested it into another property, which eventually turned out to be a bigger cash flow, double the income, and then we used that to invest into even more cash flowing rental properties. And ever since then, we haven't looked back. But throughout the entire experience, one thing became abundantly clear, and that would be how important it is to have the right property manager when times are good and especially when times are bad. Welcome to the show where we discuss everything real estate investing. Now, before we start, there's a saying that goes, a jack of all trades is a master of none. And if you ask anyone who's ever worked with Nick, they'll tell you one thing. He's not just the most responsive landlord in Las Vegas. He's also the most reliable, resourceful, creative, go-getter, problem solver that they've ever met. Today, Ronquillo manages over 600 doors, has a team of over 20 employees, and is a leader within the community. As a property owner myself, I've seen firsthand how important it is to have someone trustworthy handling your most valuable asset, especially considering that one wrong move can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. That's why hiring a property manager should be one of the first things you do when investing in real estate. Nick is that guy. So let's talk about some of the main reasons why I recommend Nick and the Ronquillo team. Second, Ronquillo believes in preventative maintenance. Third, communication is key. Whether you're a tenant or a landlord, being able to communicate seamlessly makes all the difference. Fourth, if a tenant causes damage to the property, Ronquillo has a $2 million builder-s risk insurance policy to cover any damages that might occur. Fifth, they help maximize your return. Ronquillo believes in charging market rents, and they work hard to make sure they're getting top dollar for you. Sixth, they save you time. Time is one of the most valuable commodities that we have, and Nick understands that. Finally, seventh, they're members of the community. Hopefully by now you can see why I wholeheartedly recommend Nick and the entire Ronquillo team. In conclusion, I just wanted to say thank you guys for watching.